Mr. Mayor, we live.
Great, thank you for that, Mark. So today is August 3rd, 2022. The time is 7:09 p.m. and I'm calling to order the Baldwin Park City Council regular meeting. And I believe we have Pastor Flores. Pastor Flores, would you mind leading us in an invocation?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As we pray, let's remember Pastor Jackson's brother in Albuquerque, who's not doing well and is in, I think, in dying state as well, too. Let us pray. Oremos, Padre nuestro que estás en los cielos, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga tu reino, hágase tu voluntad, en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy el pan de este día y perdona nuestras deudas, como nosotros perdonamos nuestros deudores. Y no nos dejes caer en la tentación, sino que libranos del malo. Gracious Father, we thank you for the privilege we have to live in the city of Baldwin Park, to love one another and to serve your people. Thank you for our mayor, our city council, the staff, Lord. We just pray for them today, Lord, as we enter this season, that they would gain your wisdom, Lord, and continue to honor you and serve your people effectively and efficiently. Lord, we're mindful of those of our members and citizens, Lord, who suffered today, Lord, and those all across the world. May they experience your peace. May they experience your love today, God. We thank you, Father, and we commit this time to you. In the wonderful name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ron, do you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So, City Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Treasurer Marie Contreras.
Here.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila.
Here.
Councilmember Monica Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Paul Hernandez. Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian.
Here.
And Mayor Emanuel Estrada.
Here. Thank you for that, City Clerk. So at this point, City Attorney, we didn't have a closed session, so I believe that there's nothing to report, so just go ahead and confirm that for me.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. There were no closed session items, therefore no reportable action. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. And so we move on to proclamations, commendations, and presentations, and we do have some new staff we want to present, and we will go ahead and maybe hand it off to Ron. Ron, do you want to go ahead and introduce our new assistant planner?
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor, Council.
If you want,
please
you can join us. Sorry. Oh, you can join us up here.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Please join me in welcoming our new assistant planner, Jesus Astorga Rios. Jesus was born and raised in Baldwin Park and attended Baldwin Park Unified School District and is a proud alumni of Sierra Vista High School. He then went on to attend Cal Poly Pomona and received a bachelor's degree in urban and regional planning. When asked how he became interested in the profession, he responded by saying, planning as a profession has always been something I've been interested in, whether it's working on large, complex projects or just helping residents with questions at the planning counter. Jesus hopes to continue advancing his skill set, both to help foster his professional career as a planner, as well as to help and provide quality customer service to applicants and residents in their pursuits. So please join me in welcoming Jesus.
Thank you, Ron, for the introduction, and thank you for the opportunity to continue providing excellent customer service to the city. That's all. Thank you.
You'll probably be presenting,
Yeah. He's got the haircut for it already.
It was good practice.
Kind of looks like mine, so I'm gonna go. Awesome.
Ron, why don't you start?
It's invisible. It's gonna show distorted.
You know, we definitely want to congratulate Jesus and thank him for coming to work for the city of Baldwin Park.
Very excited.
I think there's nothing more exciting than seeing people who are homegrown and fellow Dons come back to the city and work for their city. And, you know, I think that, you know, that there's a sense of pride in the work that you'll do, and knowing that you're not only part of the city, you're being part of that change. And, you know, you can take your family around the city and point to things that you've done. So looking forward to that. So thank you for working for the city of Baldwin Park. And then we do have our introduction for, if you give me 1 second. And then, of course, we do have our new Director of Community Development, who is Ron Garcia. He has over 17 years of local government experience, including serving as the city planner for the city of Baldwin Park. Prior to working for the city, Ron was employed by the City of West Covina Planning Department. He has played an integral role in several key projects in the city, including the development of place-based downtown specific plan. Received a bachelor's in political science and city and regional planning from the University of California, Berkeley, and completed coursework in heritage and conservation from the University of Southern California. So Ron, would you like to give us some few words?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I just want to say I'm grateful for the opportunity and feel humbled and honored to lead the Community Development Department. I'm excited about working with my colleagues, the Baldwin Park business community, and the residents to advance services to improve the quality of life in the city. So I want to thank you, thank the council, and again, very humbled and honored to be given this opportunity to lead the Community Development Department. So thank you.
All right. So we definitely, just want to reiterate that we're very excited to have our incoming staff, making sure that we're growing our team and making sure that we are bringing in qualified people to provide resources and services to the community. I'm very excited. I'm very confident that we are going to keep moving forward, creating a great team. And then Lulu is your newest staff member in the office she was here earlier, correct? What was her name? Crystal. So we have Crystal. We introduced her last meeting. She's also Baldwin Park grown. And then I have Jesus, who's also Baldwin Park grown. And then we have Ron, who is an internal, not a transplant. He's a yeah. So he's already in the Baldwin Park team. So we didn't go out and seek anybody. We gave that opportunity to Ron because he has been here and he's been very knowledgeable on planning and very diligent. One of the things I like about Ron is that he's able to firmly answer a question. And I think that's very important, especially when we're answering questions and making sure that we are giving firm and actual information to the community. So congratulations, Ron. Congratulations, Jesus. I look forward to working with the both of you.
Well, let me take the opportunity to congratulate Ron and also Jesus. It's always nice to have a product of Baldwin Park come back to the city and contribute in meaningful ways. And so, I wish you the best. Oh, there you are. I wish you the best as you start this new chapter and, you contribute to the city of Baldwin Park as assistant planner. Congratulations. And Ron, congrats on your position. And I know that you've done great work for the city already. And I have all the confidence that you will continue to do so in this new role and even in a more expansive role. So congrats.
Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Avila.
I also want to congratulate our new staff, Jesus. Welcome to the city of Baldwin Park, but you've lived here the whole time, but now you're going to work for us and for yourself and for the community, which is what's exciting because you live here, so you've had in your mind what you would like to see in our city. So now you can bring those ideas and make them work for us. So that's very exciting that you get to see your city grow and you give your own vision that you've had since you were young. So congratulations for picking the city of Baldwin Park to work for, not only to live here, but to work for as well. I'm very excited to see what you're gonna do to make the city even better. So thank you. And Ron, thank you for taking the opportunity to move up to your next role. I know you're going to do a great job. I love your integrity, your honesty, and I know you will continue to do great things for the city. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, I just want to welcome Jesus, our new assistant planner, to the Baldwin Park family. Welcome, Jesus, and to Ron, congratulations on your appointment for Community Development Director. One thing I can say about Ron is just like the mayor stated, there's not a time where I would call and ask him a question that he doesn't know. Most of the time, he gives me an answer right then and there. He works with integrity. And I'm sure that and confident that he's going to do a great job in this position and do the right thing. So congratulations, Ron.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to take the opportunity to close on behalf of a very special resident in our city. Our dear, sweet JoJo has passed on, and Baldwin Park will not be the same without her. Josephine Cronin was also known as JoJo, who lived in the city of Baldwin Park for 55 years. The city was able to organize a drive-by parade for her senior members to celebrate her 90th and 100th birthdays. Last September, City Council presented JoJo with the city plaque to commemorate her 100th birthday. As a longtime resident, she was very proud of her community and embraced everything about it. JoJo volunteered with the Baldwin Park Julia McNeil Senior Center and the Baldwin Park Adult Program for approximately 40 years. During that time, she was a spokesperson for senior classes and lifelong learning and received the Program of Excellence Award from the Department of Education. Jojo also volunteered countless hours in various capacities for both the city and the Bee-Pace School District. In 2003, Jojo was voted Senior Prom Queen by her peers, and in 2004, she received the Older Americans Recognition Award from the LA County Board of Supervisors for her exemplary commitment, dedication, and her service to the community. Jojo was an outstanding individual with a beautiful outlook on life and served as a great example for us all. She will be missed and just dearly loved in this community. We'll certainly think about her. And, you know, she was such a quiet person, never really bringing attention to herself. But she was such a loving person. And that's why people loved her back, right? And she was always just very sweet and gentle and ready to serve others. So with that, we just want to give our condolences to Jojo's family and just let them know that she will be missed and remembered. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Definitely want to acknowledge Jojo. I got to meet her at her 100th birthday celebration. I was there when the city handed her that plaque. Always a huge loss for the community to lose longtime community members. You know, with such a young history, it's always neat and exciting to meet people that have been here longer than the city itself. So I do want to share my condolences with the family. So at this moment, we will.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I didn't mention her services for anybody who's interested in attending. So Jojo Josephine Cronin was born September 21st, 1921. She passed away June 23rd of this year. And her services will be at Forest Lawn in Covina. That's at 21300 Via Verde Drive, Covina. The viewing is on August 7th from 3 to 7 p.m. And the funeral services will be August 8th at noon at Church of Our Heritage. And then there's a reception to follow for anybody that's interested.
Great, thank you for that. So at this moment, I will move to open public communication. City Clerk, is there anybody looking to speak?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have 5 individuals who sent email requests to speak tonight. We're going to start with Joanne Burns.
Members of the Baldwin Park City Council. My name is Joanne Burns. I had grown up in the city of Baldwin Park. I attended Charles Burge Elementary School and graduated from Sierra Vista High School. I have had the honor of working with Ron Garcia. About 16 years ago, we started our career together, and I can confidently say that you made the right decision. Ron Garcia will serve the city of Baldwin Park well. He serves with integrity, and he is an extremely hard worker. He does his best in every task that he has faced. And I would like to congratulate Ron Garcia for being appointed as the Community Development Director for the city of Baldwin Park. Congratulations, Ron. Thank you.
Next is Jerry Briceño.
So this is Baldwin Park regarding your comment. Barry Briseño. Tonight's meeting, would you like to speak or did you want to forego? Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Yep.
He chose to forego. Next is Paul Cook.
Mr. Cook? Hi, this is Lulu. I'm calling regarding your request to speak at public council meeting. Yeah, you may go ahead and start.
Yeah, hi, Mayor and council members, Paul Cook, just resident of the city. I just wanted to thank Josh Hendricks for the wonderful job he did in helping Oscar Alarcon just do his job. I hope that a lot of these young officers can be learned to train to protect and serve and not just have the appearance of being lazy. And that's not good training or good discipline. And the chief needs to know that it's making him look bad and it's making the city look bad. But thanks to Josh Hendricks and his hard work on that. And I want to thank Anthony Vasquez. He's been doing such a great job cleaning up the graffiti on that bridge. And I haven't seen any graffiti since. He's in public works. And I just hope the mayor and council start promoting people who are doing their jobs instead of people who are encouraging corruption. So I think I've had enough of it. And we're going to expose everything. It's coming out little by little. And I just wanted to say that Manny Carrillo is the most useless director that we've had. There's feces all over the toilet today. I don't know why he's getting paid close to $300,000. He fired Julian Casas because he asked for a 40-cent raise after 20 years. I think he's amoral, that he's incompetent. And if anyone else is listening, I just want to remind everyone that Manny Carrillo used to launder money through gift cards through the Baldwin Park Community Center Corporation, and I'm sure he's doing something fishy right now with the Baldwin Park Charitable Relief Foundation. I think he's the worst director Baldwin Park has ever had. He's a cancer and a canker sore for the city, and they just need to let him go. And we can find someone younger, more competent, that knows how to clean toilets, that knows how to run a better community. And yeah, I just find him to be a disgusting human being. So thank you very much, and I hope you fire him one day. Bye.
Next is Vincent Tsai. He is a candidate for State Senate District 22 and would like to introduce himself to the members of the City Council and residents of the city. He can also speak on the homeless issue.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, residents of Baldwin Park. My name is Vincent Tsai. I'm a candidate for State Senate District 22. I'm currently a deputy sheriff with LA County. And I won't get into the whole backstory about why I decided to run. It's a long story, but I see myself as a public servant. And my scope of influence as a law enforcement officer only goes so much. So I saw on the agenda today that members of the council will be discussing appropriations for funding for the homeless issue. Right now, us as a state, we're throwing money at this homeless issue, and it hasn't produced any results. The homeless issue continues to grow. Between the fiscal year of 2018 and 2021, we spent $12 billion on the homeless issue, but yet the problem continues to go out of control. I humbly want to give the recommendation of the money that we are appropriating to certain organizations like the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. We need to keep them accountable. So we're spending a lot of money on this homeless issue, but nobody is stepping up in a leadership position to find out how that money is being spent and is it producing any results. And so what I want to do as a state legislator is institute things like what Michael Schellenberger recommended in his book, San Francisco. I really like his idea of CalPsych, an organization that oversees the counties and the cities of our state, and having some kind of chain of command where the leaders at the top are keeping people accountable and leading from the front, making sure that the amount of money we're spending on the homeless issue can actually produce results, and so we can get people the housing that they need, the mental health care that they need, and also drug rehab programs that drug addicts need to attend. I think that people that are homeless right now, they need to be kept accountable themselves. So we provide them with housing temporarily, mental health treatment, drug rehab treatment, but they have to show that they're making progress and they have to keep showing up. Right now, in these drug rehab programs, you might check in every once in a while, but then they disappear into the wind and then they're back in these open air drug markets. So we need to keep the homeless people accountable for their own actions too, because in the past I've worked in the jails, and I can tell you that a lot of our inmates want to go back to jail because life in jail is better now on the streets. They're getting free food, free medication, anything they want. And that doesn't incentivize them to take responsibility of their own lives and make a change in their own lives and get back on their feet. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next is Denise Knitter. She is with BizFed. We're going to try one more time.
Hi, Denise. This is Lulu from the City of Baldwin Park regarding your request to speak at a council meeting. Okay, I'm going to put you on speaker, and when you start to speak, the clock will start. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Denise. I'm calling on behalf of the Los Angeles County Business Federation, also known as BizFed. Our organization is countywide. We represent over 400,000 employers and over 3.5 million employees in the county, several of whom are in Baldwin Park. I really appreciate you letting me make public comment today. I'm commenting on the considered healthcare minimum wage workers raise. And I wanted to encourage the council to please, to please allow the citizens of Baldwin Park to vote on this ordinance and to not implement it directly. We're strongly encouraging you to request an economic analysis prior to taking any action. BizFed believes that the best basis for legislation is informed, data-driven decision-making, and it's really unclear what these minimum wage raises could do to the already strained healthcare system. As we know, a lot of our local healthcare providers have not recovered and are just straining since the pandemic. The people who will be most unlikely to be able to compete with this minimum wage that's unequally distributed are also the healthcare facilities that tend to serve the most disenfranchised parts of any community. It'll create a patchwork approach to minimum wage increases, which is never sound policy. We're really encouraging the council to please be thoughtful in your approach and to include the economic analysis as part of your consideration. Thank you.
And we received one more request to speak via phone, and that is from John Bechet.
Hi, John, it's Lulu. I'm calling from the City of Baldwin Park regarding your request to speak. Hi, I'm going to place you on speaker, and you can start speaking. 1 second, you have 3 minutes. Okay, go ahead, John.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. I would like to congratulate Mr. Ron Garcia on his new role. Ron, your great work ethic and commitment will be a great contribution to the Department of Community Development and the city. Thank you, Ron, for being a great friend and mentor. Ron, wishing you all the best and looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Those were our call-ins. We did receive some cards. The first one is Gabriel Monteja. He is here to speak on healthcare worker minimum wage.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Montoya. I am actually a executive committee member statewide for SEIU-HW, but I'm a rank and file member, so I also serve as an EMT in LA County, been in LA County EMT for 17 years now, and I work out of Downey. But I'm here to support my union members, brothers and sisters in healthcare tonight in their fight for a minimum wage. I'm here tonight with EVS, as most people know them as housekeepers from our Downey Baldwin Park facility. They're here behind me. And I'm here to speak on their behalf. What we really got to focus on this year is that a lot of these healthcare workers who have been doing this work have been doing it consistently, many times in areas where they're understaffed and overworked. And in many cases, these workers have not been compensated for the danger they have been put in. I will tell you, Kaiser Permanente is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that owns as much capital and as cash on hand, probably more than the Catholic Church in the state of California. And yet, our multi-million-dollar a year CEO whose total compensation was $17 million over the last year, has not even bothered to pay any of these workers hazard pay. The lowest paid workers in Kaiser Permanente have not received a single dollar of hazard pay and had to fight to get their union negotiated bonus. And so I say this because there's going to be a lot of people here tonight that want to have a conversation with you about how this is unequitable, how it's unjust. Well, let's talk about equity. Let's talk about how it's unequitable to ask people to continue every single day to put themselves and their families at risk and yet decide that they should not be even able to survive and pay rent in the communities that they work and they live in. We all know that rent in the city of Baldwin Park and rent in LA County, period, is outpacing the ability that these workers who do a necessary job in our hospitals are able to make. And so I say this tonight because we need to remember that these workers are going to continue to dedicate themselves to this community, and we should at least make sure that they are able to do it with dignity and able to do it with shelter, with gas in their cars and food on their tables. None of us in healthcare, including myself, ever joined healthcare because we wanted to get rich. We'll leave that to our CEOs. But we did this because we want to serve our communities. But even though we're not doing this to get rich, we should at least be able to survive. And I think the people of Baldwin Park would like to see the people who are caring for them have a home to go to, have gas in their cars, and food in their stomachs while they take care of them. So please continue to work on this ordinance, and let's make sure we take care of healthcare workers. Thank you.
Next is Catherine Lozier. She'll speak on regarding the library.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council and community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Though the library's summer programming is starting to wind down, we still have an action-filled August. In-person programming at the library on August 13th, we'll have Illusions by Alan. Alan is an award-winning magician who will be coming to do a program for children, best ages for 3 to 12. He'll have sleight of hand tricks, zombie floating balls, and Chinese linking rings, and a lot of audience participation. The attendance is limited, so if you have a little one who might want to participate, registration opens up on Saturday, and I highly recommend you make a reservation then. And then we have 4 virtual programs for adults throughout August. On Saturday, August 6th, this Saturday at 11 a.m., author Ed Lin will be talking about his latest novel, Death Doesn't Forget. It's the 4th installment in his humorous and enthralling Taipei Night mystery series. On Monday, August 8th at 6 p.m., the library will work in collaboration with the Andrew Mellon Foundation and American Academy of Poets. The library will host a panel featuring 8 poet laureates of 8 different cities around the country, and they'll talk about how they represent their cities and communities through their writing. On Thursday, August 11th, we will have the Theodore Payne Foundation talking about lawn removal one-on-one, teaching you how you can remove your lawn and save water with low-care native plants. And then back by popular demand on Tuesday, August 16th at 3 p.m., LA County's Office of Small Business will provide entrepreneurs with the helpful information that they'll need to start their own business here in Los Angeles County. But thank you all so much for your time. Stop in and see me at the library sometime. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Margarita Clemente. She would like to speak on Frazier Street safety.
Good evening, Mayor, council members of Baldwin Park. I have lived on Frazier Street for the past 40 years. I have seen my city go through many changes, some good, like new businesses that bring in new revenues for our city, but I've also seen the oversight and decisions that my city administrators have made. These poor decisions are putting the residents' lives in danger. I am specifically speaking of the traffic lights at the intersection of Foster and Frazier Street. The cars travel at high speeds on Frazier Street, going eastbound, and as they take on the curved portion of the street, they lose control and have crashed into cars and homes. I speak for myself, as my front gate has been crashed into a total of 4 times. The second time was 2 years ago, and the latest accident was early Sunday, July the 24th at 4 a.m. in the morning. The car went through a power pole, 3 brick pillars, 4 wrought iron gate sections, crashing into my neighbor's parked car, and finally coming to a fiery stop 2 houses down from my home. You can see all of this as it was covered by TV channel KTLA. This is unacceptable. I fear for the lives of my family. This car could have gone through my house and taken our lives. This tragedy could have easily been avoided with a simple speed bump. I speak for the people of Baldwin Park when I urge you to place speed bumps on Frazier Street near Foster. I urge you to keep the lives of your city residents safe and show that our lives matter. I only hope that if there is a next time that I speak to you, it's not because a life has been lost. Protect the lives of my family, my neighbors, and the lives of those that are behind the wheel. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Angelina Jones. She will speak on Frazier Street safety.
Hello, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Angelina Jones. I live at 13459 Frazier Street. As an educator, I tell my students to ask for help when they need it. And now I'm here asking for your help to keep our streets, my family, and neighbors safe. I have a list of collisions that have happened on our street from 2019. There are more, but these are the ones I have record of. December 20th, 2019, around 11 p.m., which Councilmember Avila was able to see the destruction caused during her ride-along with Baldwin Park PD that night. May 2nd, 2020, around 8:45 p.m. December 14th, 2021, around 12:15 a.m. May 23rd, 2022, around 7:30 p.m. And most recently, July 24th, 2022, around 4 a.m., which caused a substantial amount of damage. 2 of those incidents have affected our home, automobile, but most importantly, our mental health, and has caused financial hardship. I am dealing with PTSD when I hear cars still speeding through our street. A flashing red light after a certain time at the intersection of Frazier and Foster Avenue is a proposed solution. Another issue that we have seen, there are no stop signs on the intersection of Grace Avenue and Frazier Street. We are in need of these updates on our street before we lose a life, which thankfully my husband still has his, as some debris came through our window that night. I thank you for your time and support.
Thank you. Next is Carlos Escobosa. He would also like to speak on Frazier Street.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carlos Escobosa. I live on Frazier Street by Foster. I've also graduated from junior high and high school, Sierra Vista. I'm local, and I've been here since '95. There has always been car accidents on our streets on Frazier and Foster, between Frazier and Grace. But since the addition of the traffic lights on Foster and Frazier, the number of accidents have increased. Just last year, there was a period of 4 to 6 months where we had at least 1 accident a month in the middle of the night. We believe this is caused by the light that stays green all night and causes drivers to speed through our street at high speeds, and they run into the curb and they lose control, crashing into our cars, gates, and homes in some cases. Luckily, nobody has been seriously injured. We would like for the city to add some speed bumps on our street to slow down drivers, because these accidents turn deadly to the drivers and the residents on our street. Also, on a different note, we would like to see if someone can come out to reevaluate the left turning lane that was added on Frazier Street and Foster, turning towards Sierra Vista Middle School. When they added this turning lane, they painted on our curves, so now the cars are speeding, and they're speeding literally next to our houses, and that there's no cars blocking them from or preventing them from going straight into our homes. So we are fearful. And we brought this message up to the city. We've called many times, and no one has done anything about it. Even when Lozano was here as mayor, we spoke to him. He even went one time, and nothing was done. So we are really tired of this problem, and we hope nothing bad happens out of this. And even the mailman doesn't deliver our mail, because now they took away our parking spot for 4 of our houses, which is like 8 parking spots. So now we all have to run to park our cars, blocking our neighbors' mailboxes, and they won't get their mail because of that. So we're just tired of it, and we hope you guys can really do something about it this time to prevent anything worse from happening. We would just like the city to add some type of safety measure concerning all of this, and thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. Next is Nairi Bagdasarian.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor and members of the Baldwin Park City Council. My name is Nairi Bagdasarian, and on behalf of the San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership, I'm here to first acknowledge the time you've already spent regarding the healthcare worker minimum wage issue, and to urge you to not take any further action on it. The healthcare worker minimum wage measure failed to gather enough signatures to qualify for the ballot, and that is a clear indicator that the City of Baldwin Park residents, your constituents, are not in favor of adopting such a policy. Adopting a city ordinance based on a measure that failed to make it to the ballot will not only go against the position your constituents have already vocalized, but will also exacerbate many problems that hospitals are already facing. I understand that it is really hard for people right now. The cost of living is going up, and you as a governing body want to make sure that the people you represent are taken care of and are able to take care of themselves. Adopting an ordinance based on the failed measure will not accomplish that. The measure is discriminatory, deeply flawed policy, inequitable, and will hurt workers and patients. Should the city decide to adopt an ordinance on this, you will be opening up a very wide door. Adopting a city ordinance that mimics the measure would set arbitrary pay requirements for only some healthcare workers at private hospitals and healthcare facilities, while completely excluding thousands of healthcare workers doing the same job at public hospitals and community clinics operating in the city. The measure would in fact exclude workers at about 78% of healthcare facilities, creating a confusing, arbitrary, and inequitable system. While on the surface the measure appears to be aimed at healthcare workers, it also covers janitorial staff, security, cafeteria workers, and groundskeepers. Many of these positions are also employed by the city and other employers operating within Baldwin Park. Adopting the proposal will inevitably result in the excluded workers to come to the council and demand similar salary increases. The measure has the potential to increase costs significantly in all areas of the city or result in the appearance of discrimination by this governing body. Is the city prepared to take on that cost? Is the city of Baldwin Park prepared to take on the cost of paying everyone a $25 minimum wage? Thank you.
Next is Irma Sanchez. She'd also like to speak on Frazier accidents.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Well, I'm for the Frazier accidents. I was not as prepared as these other people that talk, but you already heard what's going on our street, which is very bad. As far as my concern, I've been involved in Park since 1984, 38 years. I have had 5 cars already total in front of my house. One in 1998, 2001, 2010, 2019, and November of 2000 of last year. From that accident, my daughter she went upside down, you know. She lost her car, she cannot go to work. She's going through a lot of financial burden because of that accident. And I really please you to do something about this problem, a bump, light, anything that will help us, you know, have our streets safe. I want one night have a policeman park somewhere, you know, that nobody can see him, so that he can see the cars that are running like a freeway, you know. It's horrible. But I think right now, this last accident just out of proportion. It's just too much. And, like other people said, I'm afraid somebody will get hurt because this is too much. So I thank you very much for hearing me.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is Adina Tesler.
Good evening, Mayor Estrada, members of the Baldwin Park City Council. My name is Adina Tesler, and I'm here today on behalf of the Hospital Association of Southern California. I've attended several Baldwin Park Council meetings, and I'm here again tonight to provide comment on the Council's recent request to explore an ordinance similar to the healthcare minimum wage measure that failed to qualify for the November ballot. First, I want to thank the Council for continuing to meet with HASC and other stakeholders. We deeply appreciate your thoughtful approach in determining whether this type of wage policy is right for the residents of Baldwin Park. Because the measure failed to qualify enough signatures, the Council is under no time constraint to act. In fact, you are in the best position to take your time to thoroughly analyze and vet all possible options and impacts on Baldwin Park. We strongly urge the Council to request a thorough economic analysis prior to taking any action, so that this body is fully informed of the potential economic impacts on the healthcare workforce and on the facilities within Baldwin Park. According to our own research, 78% of the healthcare facilities in Baldwin Park would be excluded from the measure as originally drafted. The excluded workers are from community clinics, nursing facilities, and other providers that have also been on the front line throughout the pandemic. New research from the Berkeley Research Group, which I have shared with you, has also found that 85% of Baldwin Park healthcare workers making under $25 an hour would be excluded from the current proposal. The analysis also found that the proposed measure would increase salary expenses for the covered facilities in Baldwin Park 17%. This is the highest amount of all the cities examined where similar wage measures have been introduced. The impacts on Baldwin Park are unique, significant, and worthy of further thoughtful review. On behalf of the healthcare providers in Baldwin Park, we thank you for your consideration, and we stand ready to work with the city on any issues impacting our members and the care they provide for the people of Baldwin Park. Thank you for your time.
Next is Noe Castro.
Hello, Mayor, council members. My name is Noe Castro, and I am with the Los Angeles Metro Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I'm commenting today on the proposed health care worker minimum wage measure that council has asked staff to potentially explore. Our chamber stands with workers, community clinics, and healthcare providers in strong opposition against this measure. While we recognize council has asked staff to explore what an ordinance could look like, we urge the council to take no further action. If the council wants to consider doing so, we strongly recommend ordering an economic analysis to better examine the potential economic impacts and unintended consequences. Keep it short and sweet. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Next is Jorge Alba. He will be using an interpreter.
Buenas tardes a todos. Venimos por lo mismo, por el mismo problema de Frazier Street en Foster. Cada vecino aquí que venimos, y faltaron muchos todavía porque están trabajando, Queremos mirar si podrían hacer algo por nosotros. Cada vecino le han pegado a su casa o a su carro de perdida 3, 4, 5 veces en los últimos 6 años, 5 o 6 años. Y ya todos los vecinos, pues, nos estamos poniendo de acuerdo para ver qué pueden hacer con nosotros, porque esto tiene que cambiar. Y Sierra Vista High School tiene muchos niños ahí también. Y no queremos que vaya a pasar una tragedia y lo vamos a lamentar después. Todo lo que queremos, poner speed bumps, posiblemente the red light, the flashing lights en la noche, que se cambien, que estén flashando rojo o amarillo, no sé todavía, pero casi todos los accidentes han pasado de noche y es lo que queremos, que en el día de perdida respeten esa calle y en la noche también de perdida que paren en el semáforo. Y con eso posiblemente podemos parar un poco a la gente que va muy deprisa de noche. Porque esa calle parece Speedway. Toda la gente camina recio en la noche, especialmente fines de semana. Viernes, sábado, domingo, toda la gente está asustada. No quieren salir y ese es el tema que tengo hoy. Espero en ustedes que nos puedan ayudar. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Jorge Alba, and I'm here for the same issue dealing with Frazier Street and Foster. I am same as all the neighbors that have been here, and there's quite a few more who are not here today because they're still working. Each of us or each neighbor has been hit. His car or his house have been hit 3, 4, 5 times during the last 6 years. All neighbors, we want to know what are you going to do to solve this situation, because this has to change. Sierra Vista High School is nearby, and we need to do something to prevent some kind of a tragedy that is coming if nothing is changed. We want you to consider installing speed bumps and maybe red lights or flashing lights, or at night maybe red lights or yellow lights, I don't know what colors, and to be on all night. And during the day to make sure that the drivers respect the area at night as well. Maybe with that, the drivers will slow down a little bit and people will prevent people from driving that fast. This occurs on Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, and well, this is the comment I have for you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Melissa C. She's here to speak on Community Director Ron Garcia.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I'm Melissa Chupres. I'm the Associate Planner here for the City of Baldwin Park. I'll keep it short and sweet, but I wanted to congratulate Ron as our new Community Development Director. Ron truly deserves this position. You've heard from more than one of us that he's a humble, honest, and hardworking individual who really puts the needs of the community first. To me personally, he's been nothing but an inspiration, a great mentor, and an even better friend. He has not only helped me grow as a professional planner, but I know he's mentored and made an impact on other planners that have come through the Baldwin Park Planning Division. Our department has gone through a few different planners, and it's because Ron takes the time to pay it forward and really teach every one of us. And because of that, a lot of us have moved on to bigger and better things in our careers. So Ron, congratulations. We're also proud of you and can't wait to see what else you're going to do in the future.
Thank you. Next is Fabiola Zelaya Melicher. She is here to also speak on introduction of employee.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, staff, and members of the community. It is a great pleasure and honor to be here to congratulate Ron Garcia on his new role as Community Development Director. I had the pleasure to work with him for about 9 years, and I can tell you he's someone who always step up to the challenges to get things done. He has a lot of integrity. I enjoy working with him. And I have no doubt that he will continue to be an asset to the city of Baldwin Park, the organization, the community, as well as good leader to staff and a resource as well to all staff members. So with that, congratulations, Ron. I'm really, really proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jeff Anderson, also to speak on introduction of employee.
Hi, I'm Jeff Anderson. I'm the former planning director for West Covina. We hired Ron back in 2005, I guess. I thought it was 2003, but and Ron came up through the ranks there, and we had a great time working with him, and it was a pleasure watching him develop over the years, and I have no doubt that he's going to do a great job for you guys here at Baldwin Park. Go get him, Ron. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, those are all the calls and submissions we received for speaking.
Great. Thank you for that, City Clerk. If anybody is looking to speak that did not fill out a speaker card, now is your time.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Michael. I'm with the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here to provide some comment on the proposed healthcare worker minimum wage measure. So at the Chamber, we are very concerned about the unintended effects of the proposed measure that can possibly happen if it is enacted. I'd like to start with stating that there are two recent studies that have been conducted, one from the Berkeley Research Group and the second from the California Hospital Association. First study found that 85% of healthcare workers in Baldwin Park would actually be excluded from this measure. Second one found that 78% of the healthcare facilities in the city of Baldwin Park would also be excluded. It goes without saying that this measure is not only unfair, but it can lead to major problems for the city of Baldwin Park. So we strongly urge the council to not enact this as an ordinance. If the council does decide to consider this as an ordinance, we also strongly recommend that an economic analysis be conducted so that voters do have a better understanding of the ramifications and effect that this can have on their community. Thank you very much.
Leslie Brito, good morning, Council Mayor and Council members and community. I live in Baldwin Park for 30 years, Kaiser Permanente employee for 25 in pediatrics. And just to clarify about the statement that this person previously made, the California Hospital Association paid for this study. So obviously they're gonna get what they're looking for, just to clarify on that. Secondly, please don't call our EBS healthcare workers. They work on the floor, they expose themselves all the time. They're not nurses or physicians. And also we need to remind that the people who come and talk to you about percentages and damaging the hospitals, they get paid. They lobbyists, that's their job. And I would like to see how much money they pay them to come and disturb you and give you the false statements. And also, they never are next to me. I never saw those lobbyists working with me, and I invite them to be just one day working at pediatrics with me, but they need to make sure that they don't bring the high heels, because they're not going to be able to make it. With the fancy high heels and fancy clothes, they're not going to be able to make it about what I do. I take care of kids. I take care of their family. I expose myself every single day. I got COVID twice already, even though taking the precautions. I'm very, very precautious, and I got sick too. So you guys need to see the other side of the story. They get paid. My CEOs get hundreds of thousands besides the bonuses that they get. And they crying because the members are asking for $25? How much is $25 right now? It's nothing. $25 a member. California State is giving the minimum wage for $16, and it's going to be up and up. So $25 is nothing. They greedy. They cry for nothing. They cry for profit. They don't care about the other side of the members. They care about to be billionaires. They care about fancy cars and fancy houses, because we are the ones who are on the floor. Please remember that. See the other side of the story. Remember, they get very good money to come and give you the false statements, and they get pretty good money doing lobbyists. That's what they do. They live doing lobbyists. Please remember that, and I hope you pass the ordinance for the benefit of Baldwin Park, but for the benefit of low-income people, for the people who struggle, for the people who has to look for a second job. Having a second job at home, that's a shame. Living on the richest country of the world, we had to do 2 jobs to make it. Thank you very much.
John Rios, resident, 48 years, right here in Baldwin Park. One of the things I want to talk about is the community is tired of a lot of things that's being happening in the city council. Just because you're in the city council, you're not above the law. You don't go into a director's office and tell them, oh, I need for you to pull this out. Okay? That's why I quit that thing that we had, Enrique, because I found out some things that I'm not happy about. The residents are not happy about. You know, it's like the poor people on Frazier. That's been going on for years. You know, I told Sam, those ladies wants to talk to you before they come in. Sam ignored me. The pictures that Mr. Tuttle sent you guys over the weekend, I took them because I care for the city. Okay? And I'll keep on sending them, and we'll keep on posting them. You know, one thing that I gotta say about the public works, they're all hard workers. Anthony, I called him up. Anthony, this is, and he'll take care of it. Like I said, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, Anthony needs a supervisor. You said, Enrique, that he's going to get a supervisor. He cannot be in 20 different meetings and try to run a department. Okay? That's one of the things you guys have to understand. You guys are not above the law. Anything you guys do wrong, we're going to bring it up. You know, favorite between the city council and the directors, that has to stop. I don't care if you live in Los Angeles Street or in Foster or Stewart, you cannot come to a city council and tell them, hey, you know, I need this. No. We're going to expose everything because you guys and not listening to the residents. Mayor, when you first started, I told you, you have some cancer within your departments. You need to get rid of them. You need to start with a lawyer, then go down the street, you know. Open up your eyes. The people you think they're helping you, they're not helping you because the community is upset on what you're doing right now.
Your time is up, sir.
Thank you.
Greg Tuttle, business owner. First of all, I'd like to wish Maria over at Parks and Rec a speedy recovery. She was attacked by a homeless person over at the concerts in the park. Should have never happened. This is stuff that I've been complaining about, but everybody, poor homeless. But this thing has got to end. Now, I want to thank the mayor. I sent him a text. He took care of a violent person that was threatening the workers over the owners at a restaurant near my building with intimidation that if they called the police, that he was going to come set fire and do harm to them. These are sick people. They need to be in hospitals, not coddled, not put in a home and any of that. Now, I'm all for the family people. The people that have kids and everything else, they need a home, that's fine. These people are sick people and they're violent. And you saw with your own employee getting struck. Now then, the people over here at this street, this should have never happened. This has been years ago. I don't know who they've been talking to, but this thing should have been handled. We're going to have another accident like the church over here with the women's club, where a person got killed. That doesn't need to happen. Fix the street. It's minimal cost versus a life. Now then you got the Kaiser Permanente. If they got a problem, go see your employer. That's as simple as that. You're not their employer. Now, if you want to start paying your workers $25 an hour, the minimum wage, then you got something to talk about. But you aren't paying them that. You're paying them the minimum wage of what LA is, around $16 an hour. Now then, I want to thank Sam. I called him today. I said, I got a bunch of junk that was left over from all the different homeless things that the mayor cleaned out for me. Texted the city manager. Oh, I don't see anything. I drive around the city. It's just, he doesn't drive around the city where I'm at, I guess. But Sam took care of it today, got rid of the extra stuff that was over there. And Anthony came over, asked me, is there anything else I can do for you? So I'm very impressed with that. And thank you, Mayor, for what you did. This stuff with this homeless stuff has got to end. You can't let these violent people lay on the street and then attack us business owners and threaten us business owners, because we're not going to put up with it anymore. And I suggest that you guys get in, you find out where you can put these people, and the state needs to put in these hospitals again and reopen them again and give them help, because it's not doing any good what's happening here now. So please, listen to your residents and listen to your business owners, because we're not going to put up with it anymore. And I appreciate the help that we get and the speediness that you guys did it. Thank you very much for your help.
Hola, buenas noches. I was transmission por 40 años, vivo en Baldwin Park por 40 años también. Y lo que está diciendo los residentes de Baldwin Park en la Frazier y la Oster es cierto, yo ya sabía eso, desde cuando nomás que estaba esperando que ellos dijeran para que hagan algo. Tienen que poner unos ampes ahí, no sé qué, pero tienen que hacerlo rápido porque van a pasar más accidentes. Y yo estoy de acuerdo con ellos. Entonces, aparte de eso, quiero también decirles que los homeless todavía nos falta mucho por limpiar. Limpiaron esta semana aquí la Ramona, pero dejaron toda la basura. Entonces hay que limpiar bien la Ramona, todo eso, las banquetas que tienen mucha basura. En mi taller rompieron un tower de electricidad esta semana y lo reporté, el Caltron fue a repararlo. Otra vez tomaron mi cerco, los homeless, y yo no sé qué hacer con ellos. Y tienen que meter más fuerza en eso, más poder para que los limpien, porque no están haciendo nada bueno. Y quieren llevárselos, llévenlos a su casa, pero yo no los quiero ahí. Los protegen mucho. Ellos roban, hacen muchas drogas, el freeway es todo rayado, tan bonito que estaba antes. Yo veo que no están borrando las paredes del freeway. Me dice que hasta que llegue el Caltron van a borrar. Si el Caltron no llega en un año, nunca van a borrar las paredes, ¿o qué pasa? Quiero que se vuelvan rápido para que cuando viene la gente de fuera de la ciudad, que vean bonita la ciudad, no que la vean fea. Yo todos los días ando recorriendo la ciudad para ver qué pasa, reportando con Anthony, con Siriar, todo, para que ustedes cooperen con nosotros, porque nosotros también tenemos trabajo que hacer. Y es todo.
Good evening. My name is Abel, and I've been in Baldwin Park for 40 years. I'm here to talk about the issue related to Frazier and Foster Streets. I knew about these problems, but I wanted to see that the other neighbors and residents bring it up first. You have to do something about it, and you have to do something quickly, or else more accidents will take place. The other issue is the homeless. They have taken them and they have cleaned the area of Ramona, but there's more cleanup to be done. There's trash to be picked up, and there's need to clean up the sidewalks as well. They broke one of the electric poles around my shop. I reported this homeless, and I will continue to do so. And you know, the people who care for them, they should take them home. Take them home and take care of them. And they do drugs. They paint with graffiti the areas of the freeway and all that, and the city doesn't look beautiful anymore. It used to, but not anymore. And they said in regards to the issue of the graffiti, they're waiting for Caltrans to show up, but it might take a year for them to show up. You know, I want to see my city beautiful again. And I walk around a lot around the city, and I want to see that this gets cleaned up. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Is there anybody else looking to speak? If not, I will go ahead and move to close public communication. Definitely want to address some of your situations. You know, Frazier Street, we're all aware of what happened there, and I think we've been working really hard to make sure that the streets are getting safer. We know that there's been speeding issues, especially after the pandemic. Everybody has been in a rush to go everywhere, and we don't know why. But you know, it's very important to understand that there's a process to all of this. I know, and sometimes it takes longer than we'd like to. Doesn't mean that we're not paying attention or that we're making excuses for it. It's just the way it is, right? Sometimes there's traffic studies involved. Sometimes the type of street doesn't allow for a speed hump or things like that. But there are other speed deterrents that we can consider. So Sam, definitely, you know, kind of treat it as an urgency and reach out to the residents, see that street and what we can do. It is important that we make sure that street is safe because it's residential, but it's also part of our bike lane path. So, you know, bicyclists pass through there. I pass through there. So I know that it is important to make sure that that area is safe, not just for the residents, but the passerbys. And it is next to the school, so we want to make sure we take care of that. So by all means, we should consider, I know that there's rumble strips, we have potential for speed humps, and other signage that can hopefully help deter that. I don't know if we can, I think that street, once we get to that upper portion of Frazier, there's no lines on the street. Is that something that we could do there?
Absolutely, Mayor. So there's a couple of things we're doing. The immediate thing we're doing is increasing the signage and doing the restriping. And we're going to be doing a survey for speed humps and look at other options. Rumble strips is one of them. The red flashing lights is another option. So we were there Sunday morning doing the cleanup. We are very aware of the situation. And so we are going to be expediting the solution and talking to the residents.
Great, thank you for that. And so definitely, I just want to make sure that we're all in understanding that we're aware of it, we're working on it. It does sometimes take a little bit longer than we'd like it to, but that's just part of the process. Talking about homelessness, I think Mr. Vincent Tsai was here and he was talking about it. So we're actually in a really, we're getting to a really good position, right? And I can't stress this enough. When we talk about homeless services and making sure that we are tackling the issue head on, we're not making excuses for people breaking the law. We are looking to ramp up our efforts faster than ever, which we've been doing. And we're looking to be able to meet our requirements under Martin v. Boise. So under Martin v. Boise, it was a lawsuit, and I've talked about this multiple times. It's a lawsuit that originated, I believe, in Ohio, and it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And it ruled that asking individuals to simply keep it moving without offering them a place to go was unconstitutional, and it was unusual and cruel punishment. So as I mentioned, I believe last December, it was upheld by the Supreme Court. Once you get to the Supreme Court, there is nowhere else to go. So here in the city of Baldwin Park, we opened up our first tiny home project last year in record time, the first in the San Gabriel Valley. And it's actually helped a lot of people, preventing them from getting into homeless, and it helps us. It helps us reach our units, making sure that we're reaching that status that we need to be able to do these things. We're opening up our family tiny home shelter, which we have on our agenda today, and that is another really important project. That's something that I don't believe has been done before anywhere in the region, not just San Gabriel Valley. So it is a pretty big deal. And then I know that we have other projects coming up. I believe we have a partnership with Lakata that is coming up through the Regional Housing Trust, which would help have a mobile crisis response team. I gave direction, I believe, a month ago to meet with the county, and that meeting was held yesterday. All of our staff and all of the county staff met, the transportation team, to get involved and make sure that we start cleaning up the wash. So if you ride through the Emerald Necklace, if you ride your bike down there, just pass through there, you'll see that in the coming months, you will see an effort to clean that area up. But it does get tricky. So I know that we heard about Caltrans. So the city's not allowed to touch Caltrans property, and I believe even the county is not allowed to touch Caltrans property sometimes. So it does get difficult. We are a city that's in between freeways and washes, and some of these washes aren't just county. They incorporate the Army Engineer Corps, and they incorporate LEDWP. So it does get a little bit tricky with jurisdictions. However, that doesn't mean that we're not making our efforts. Our PD has also gotten heavily involved, and I know that they've also been working with county and reaching out to other cities to learn from them and see how we can speed up this process. So it's been, it's a tricky conversation, but we are paying attention and we are doing some really diligent work. So I just want to share that with you. $25 an hour, we can't have this conversation forever. So I do want to let council know that we will have to make a final decision sooner rather than later. There is a lot of information out there, and it is up to each council member to do their due diligence on this, check sources and everything in between. So wanted to point that out.
Mayor, are you done?
Yes.
Sorry. Thank you. First, I want to thank everybody that came out to speak. I'm going to touch on two topics that are very important. The Frazier Foster accident. I was there 2 years ago. It was actually, I was doing the ride along, Maria, when this happened. And it was an ugly accident. And at that time, I brought it up as well. As soon as I found out about the accident on Sunday morning, Ricardo Vasquez sent me the video. I did not know about it, our commissioner. And I told him that's the exact same house where that accident happened. I immediately got on the phone with our city manager and with Sam, and I told them something needs to be done here. And I explained to them what I saw when I was on that ride along. I also explained to them how on Frazier Street and that the kids cross there, and that's where the cars are picking up all their speed, where traffic coming out of Grace and Frazier can't see vehicles coming from either side and the dangers of that. So I want to reassure you that I immediately reached out to Sam and Enrique, the city manager, and that is why they went out there and look at the area. And I had already talked to Sam because in the area of Fairgrove, on the other side of the 10 freeway, there's a blind spot exactly like it is right here on Frazier, and they were doing the exact same thing. And that's exactly what we did. We did the bumps and we did the flashing lights, which has helped a lot. Is helped the students cross the street safely because it is a blind spot, like I said. So be reassured that we're definitely going to move fast on this project. And there was a plan to meet next week in your area, in your street. But I'm glad you came to the city. This is what we need to do as a community. We need to come in and we need to voice our opinions or our fears, our thoughts, whatever's going on in our city. You need to bring it up to our attention, but be assured that it was already brought up and it's already being worked on, and we're still planning on going out to your street and hopefully have more residents there to speak to you because it is in the works to fix that. I'm sorry for that another scare that you received because, again, I was there. I saw what happened the first time. I drove by this time after the cars were already removed and saw the same. It was like a deja vu. It was the exact same fence, the exact same thing that happened. And I remember that night clearly. I spoke to you that night. So be assured something will be done. Para los que hablan español, les quiero asegurar que al día siguiente que yo supe del accidente que pasó ahí en Frazier, yo ya había estado allí anteriormente, el último accidente que pasó, que se metió a esa yarda. Y yo ya había dicho algo y no se hizo nada. Este accidente inmediatamente le llamé al manejador de la ciudad y a Sam, y es por eso que ya pasaron por allí, ya fueron a ver cómo está la calle. Incluso esta semana que viene íbamos a ir a su calle a tener una junta con ustedes, a sacar a los residentes de sus casas, íbamos a tocar en cada puerta para hablar con ustedes. Pero me da mucho gusto que ustedes tomaron la iniciativa de venir aquí a decir algo. Es muy importante oírlos a ustedes, lo que están pasando, lo que están sintiendo, porque sí da miedo de los que viven ustedes allí en esa vuelta, que puede pasar otra vez, es muy peligroso. Incluso le dije a Sam que la calle Grace, que está ahí un ladito, cuando estás dando la vuelta a la izquierda o a la derecha, nunca se puede ver cuando vienen los carros porque es una curva y no se ve. En la calle Fairgrove hay una curva exactamente así como las de ustedes, y hace 2 años o 3 años hicimos lo mismo, pusieron los bumps y pusieron luces que están flasheando porque los niños tampoco podían cruzar la calle y los carros pasaban volando. Nomás les quiero asegurar que ya está el proceso, ya se está haciendo algo, y la semana que entra todavía vamos a ir a hablar con ustedes porque ya lo teníamos planeado, ir a tocar en cada puerta para hablar con los residentes. Pero muchas gracias que vinieron a asegurar de que estamos escuchando y que vamos a hacer algo para tener poquita más seguridad en esa calle. Y es buena idea tener a un policía que se estacione en una área donde no se pueda ver. Yo digo que la calle Grace es un lugar excelente porque no se alcanza a ver de la calle Frazier. So, Chief, maybe we can have a patrol officer on Grace because nobody will be able to see them if they're flying by there. I hope they're not flying anytime soon. So be assured that it is going to be taken care of. And we will put fast forward on that, Sam, please, because it is urgent. Now, so thank you for being here. When it comes to the homeless, Mr. Tuttle, thank you. Yes, you're right. Our families deserve a home, and we appreciate the community support on that. And I do agree with you. And I was just having this same conversation with Councilmember Damien about the homeless that are creating problems for our community members, because our community members have a right to feel safe. Just like the homeless have a right to have a place to live, our community members have a right to feel safe. So this is when we need to do something else to help our community members feel safe and do something about that, about those that don't want the help, because the ones that are receiving the help is because they want to get help. They want to come out of their homeless situation, and they want to be placed in a permanent home. They want the help, but there are those, Mr. Toto, you're right, that don't want the help, that are maybe hurting others, and they have like you said, they hurt our employee Maria. And I was having that conversation with Councilmember Damian about how the laws need to help us fix that. And unfortunately, it cannot be a local law, or maybe there is something we can do. We need to look into that, that protects our residents from the violent people, whether they're mental health illness, drug addiction, whatever it is. I do know that Officer Wenner just recently went to Orange County. As you remember, you probably remember on the news, Orange County had an uptick on homelessness. And it was a big problem for them. And just recently, I know they received a grant. It's a government grant to help them with the homeless, with the mental health, with the drug addiction and all that. So we have Officer Wenner from our homeless outreach that is looking into all of that. Just a couple of weeks ago, he went to meet with them and to find out how it is that we can find funds to help our police department have more officers in that area, correct, Chief? So we are looking into that because we do understand it is a problem. Definitely agree with that. So we are looking into that and looking into seeing how they're remedying their problem and to help those that are not accepting the help and get them off the streets, whether it's a hospital, mental health, whatever it is, so they're not making our residents feel unsafe. So we're looking into that. We will keep you posted. I know Officer Wenner is diligently working. He's passionate about that part of his job. So he's really looking into resources to help our community. So I just wanted to make sure, Chief, if you have anything else to add on the homeless, because when Officer Wenner was telling me about that, I was really excited. Hopefully we can work on getting that grant, whoever our grant writers are, to help us fund that so we can help with the homeless here in the city and help them get the services that they need, or see what the state can do, look into laws that can be implemented into our cities, maybe an ordinance, I don't know if it's possible or illegal, that they can't be anywhere near parks. I don't know how that works and how legal it is, but something that can be done to protect our children and our residents that are in a park having a good time. There has to be something we can do. I don't know what it is, but if we can look into it. Chief, did you want to add something about what Officer Wenner learned?
Yes, ma'am. He did go down to Orange County to look at the process and how they deal with their homeless issues and what they do with issues within the parks. So there's quite a few things that he brought back that we're going to take a look at here. I gave him some ideas and some direction to prepare something for us so I can educate the community, educate the council as to what we can and can't do. Like the mayor indicated, there's laws that we have to abide by, and making sure that we provide services to the community or to the homeless. So there are things that we're doing right now that we're looking at, so we can do some outreach and some impact to do some of those things that you're asking about. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks to be able to have a presentation for the council to educate you and the community as what we can and can't do.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, I want to chime in on this because I've seen an increase of homeless in our community, and they're new faces. They're not the same people that I've historically seen, and I think that the saying, "No good deed goes unpunished," unfortunately applies, because the city of Baldwin Park has taken a leadership role in providing homeless the housing opportunities that other cities have not provided. And what I'm hearing is that people are being dropped off in our community because we do provide those services now. And some of these individuals don't even know where they're at. They've just been bussed in or dropped off. And this was a reason why I was concerned about accepting funding that waives the background checks, because I would imagine that some of the most challenging circumstances or the most challenging cases of homeless that maybe other jurisdictions have not been able to resolve, they might just be shuttled to the city of Baldwin Park. And so in the past, I made comments about, yes, we do want to provide a safe environment for the homeless in these tiny homes villages, but we also need to take into consideration the safety of the rest of the community. So I would be interested to see what Orange County, has done in terms of policies, funding, because this, exactly the conversation we're having has been my concern from the beginning. And now we have the Home Key project, we have the Tiny Homes Village next to Walmart, and then we have this third project that's being proposed, and I would assume that none of them are requiring background checks. So again, we're going to be attracting the most difficult cases, and we need to look at all of that in terms of our policies, because it also has to do with what we decide here, what we allow here on the council. So I just wanted to express, on the one hand, I give kudos to the council for, trying to show leadership on the homeless issue. But I do think that the saying, no good deed goes unpunished, does apply, because I think that's resulting in an increase in homelessness and in some of the most challenging cases. So moving on from that issue, I also want to applaud our residents for being here, because it's very rare that we see our residents come out organized on an issue. So I applaud you, and I recognize you for taking such ownership of your neighborhood, and also organizing, reaching out to each other, and taking the time to come out here to the city council and make sure that we also take it very serious and we prioritize this. And I also want to, mention to Sam that perhaps, I'm not a fan of infrastructure like roundabouts and medians. I usually, want to keep it clear for emergency vehicles. And but Frazier is an interesting street because it's narrow and it also has a curve to it. And then from Foster to Merced, it's just a straight shot. So I wonder if, all of that factors into the speeding and the reckless driving. And would, maybe we look at infrastructure as far as like trees or, those mitigation measures to slow down traffic, maybe a roundabout at Frazier and Monterey. There's kind of an irregularly shaped four-way stop. And so, maybe we look at that, because I think what's encouraging the speeding perhaps is the stretch from Foster to Merced just being wide open. So, and it is a narrow street, so it poses its challenges, but in addition to the other speed mitigation measures mentioned, maybe we look at the infrastructure of it too. And I also do want to say that in the recent years, we have put speed humps around Service to High School, and I think that has really slowed down traffic. We also put the protected left turn at Frazier and Foster to help the students cross the street more safely. And then I think we also put a protected left turn at Francisquito and Frazier to help with that kind of movement of vehicles as well. So this would be the next phase of that, and very important piece. So I want to say thank you for coming out, and just know that we will prioritize it here. You've heard all of us say that here. And since we're on the issue of speeding, let me go ahead and provide two more requests. So I received a request for speed mitigation measures on Puente Avenue near Baldwin Park High School between Root Street and Badillo. And so if you could look at that stretch, and we've gotten some similar complaints. And then on Little Main Avenue between Merced and Francisquito. So if we could include that. But clearly, our priority will be Frazier. So thank you. And then I also want to applaud our staff. You know, people take hits and it's often misplaced. You know, Manny Carrillo does an excellent job in our city. I've seen our Department of Recreation and Community Services just grow and excel. And, you know, the team that Manny oversees is so hardworking. And look at all the community events that you've delivered for this community, the concerts, the just the very, you know, there are just so many. I'm constantly getting text messages from Manny about one event after another. And so I do want to, you know, just say that you do an excellent job for our community, and the same goes for the rest of the E team. So thank you. And, you know, sometimes these criticisms are just misplaced. So want to just say thank you. That's all.
Great, thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
just a brief comment on the meeting that we were planning to have at the community on Frazier, Councilmember Avila, Tuesday at 5 o'clock, just so that, you know, we were going to contact you. I know Captain Hofford took all of your phone numbers, but Tuesday next week at 5 o'clock at the corner of Frazier and Foster, but we'll contact you.
And if you can get more of your neighbors to come out, that would be great.
Great. So at this moment, we are going to move to public communication. So, I mean, sorry, consent calendar. And then so I believe there's an emergency, there's a walk-on item, City Chief Deputy City Clerk or City Attorney. You want to go ahead and explain that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. The council previously approved a Oath to Country Foundation grant of $25,000. And there's some federal requirements related to that grant. And so we changed the agreement, which is in front of you tonight, to make sure that we're meeting those federal requirements, reporting and so forth. And so that needs to be an urgency item to get that funded, that grant funded. And we're asking that you add that to the agenda tonight as an urgency item, which would require a 4/5 vote. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Great, thank you for that. So I'll make a motion to add item. City Attorney, what number are we?
I believe that would be item 11. Let me check that.
It's going under reports of officers.
So yes, we've got reports of officers as 10. So we would make this item, let's make this item number 9A.
So I will make a motion to add the
Oath to Country Foundation.
Oath to Country Foundation grant agreement as item number 9A to the consent calendar. Can I get a second? Chief Deputy City Clerk, roll call, please. Or City Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Manuel Estrada?
Yes.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila? Yes. Councilmember Monica Garcia?
Yes.
Councilmember Paul Hernandez? Mayor Pro Tem Danielle Damian?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you for that, City Clerk. So at this moment, if there's anybody looking to pull any items, I want to pull item number 2, 7, and 8. Is there any other items council is looking to pull from the consent calendar?
Did the mayor vote? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. You voted on the last one, right?
You want to add item?
Yeah. Yes, Mayor, we also need to add the budget amendment onto the agenda. That was something that needs to go forward today because of the financial issues. And we'll make that 9B, Lourdes? 10. 10 is report of officers, so we may want to put it under consent.
Supposed to be item 9.
Okay, so let's make it 9B, since 9A is the Oath to Country Foundation grant agreement.
And what are we adding? The budget?
Yes, we're adding a budget amendment. I'm not totally familiar with that, but who can give a little presentation? Finance Director.
It's already there.
Budget amendment is, if it passes, it's going to be added as 9B to the agenda.
Yeah, Honorable Mayor and council members, for clarification, we did send the agenda to all of the parties with the correct item. So item 9 is listed as the budget amendment. However, on the actual website, it wasn't inserted. It wasn't binded, and so that's why we're walking it on. This is indeed actually item number 9, and it's correct on the agenda that that's printed out
Gotcha.
for the public.
That is correct. Thank you for that correction. And also, it's important to note that that was posted correctly on the kiosk. It's just that it was not on our website, so we're doing this as an extra precaution.
Great, thank you. So item number 9. So easier to understand. I wasn't sure. So I'll make a motion to add fiscal year 2022-23 amendment budget to the agenda, to the consent calendar as item number 9.
I'll second.
Yeah, but it's not on the, right? Okay, so roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Monica Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila, Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you for that. So going back to pulling items from the consent calendar, I did mention 278. Is there any other items council is looking to discuss? Not, I will make a motion to pass items number 1 through 9B. Can I get excluding, oh,
We had oath the country as 9A, so we don't need the 9B after all, Mr. Mayor.
great. So I'll make a motion to pass items 1 through 9A, excluding 2, 7, and 8. Can I get a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Monica Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you for that. So we go on to item number 2, approval of formal agreements to be used with the San Gabriel Valley Habitat for Humanity. Ron, I know you took this on, so if you want to just give us a brief explanation for the item.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor. I also have Carol Averill, our housing manager, as well, to answer any additional questions. What's before you for item 2 through Habitat for Humanity is part of going back to October 6th of 2021, which approved the affordable homeownership expansion agreement with Habitat. So this is one of the 4 programs, funding sources, to establish the 5 programs. So essentially, before you are the council to approve the low mod forms that have been drafted for Habitat to execute their rehabilitation program. So again, these are the financial documents that would assist Habitat in completing that process in their program.
Great, and then, so is this the complete allocation for the 3.6, or is this just specifically for the home repair?
Correct. This is for the home repair, and this is part of, this is out of low mod, out of the 575,000 that was allocated for the low mod funds, as indicated in the, in October of 2021, that approved the program for Habitat.
Great. Okay, well, thank you for that, Ron.
I have some questions for you.
Council has any questions, you can go ahead. Councilmember Garcia.
Ron, so 575,000.
We can't hear you.
Oh, thank you. 575,000 has been allocated to Habitat for Humanity for low to moderate income housing.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and so the forms that are being approved today are part of just the process.
That is correct,
of
yes.
allocating those funds.
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
And it's part of the 3.5 million it's part of the 3.5 million that was approved back in 2021.
575,000?
Correct.
Yeah. Yes, 575,000.
575,000.
Is that, so I know that there are Choto partners, so is that including the funds that go to them for being our partner? Is that correct? Or is that just for the partnership in general?
The partnership, as you have all pointed out, it's a total of 3.584 million, 3.6 million, the total partnership, which includes both for new home ownership.
That is correct. So I can, so it's
Repair.
2 million from the American Rescue Fund, and then the 575 for the low mod, and then 725,000 from the Future Development Fund, and a total of 284,000 for home investment from the Home Investment Property Act Fund, which, or the Choto Reserve Fund. So it does include that, yes.
So Ron, what are they proposing to do with this funding? These $3 million
So as part of
bucks?
this funding, we have Habitat for Humanity. So Habitat, I will say, has been waiting patiently to get these documents drafted, so that way they can move forward in that next step and doing rehab or an acquisition.
Are there any specific requirements of this funding or?
Good evening. I'm
Thank you,
Grant
Grant.
Power, Director of Real Estate Development for San Gabriel Valley Habitat. Just wanted to come up in order to clarify on some of the questions that I believe are being raised. The activities that are going to be supported by the low mod funds, in combination with the home funds that were also part of this agreement, will be used for between 6 and 10 property acquisitions that will include renovations and then repositioning of those properties for sale to qualified low-income buyers in the area.
So we are granting Habitat about $3 million for those acquisitions, renovations, and then to make those homes available to low and moderate income households.
The total amount that you're speaking of refers to the expansion agreement, which covers different slices or program activities that are beyond what I just said,
Okay.
including new construction and home repairs where the owners continue to remain as occupants in their homes.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that we can get a presentation on the larger plan for the full amount? And we can see the different projects that are being proposed? Maybe
Absolutely.
at a study session?
Absolutely, yes, Councilwoman
That
Garcia.
would be great, right? It would be nice to see that.
Yeah, we're very pleased. We'd be happy to do that, and we're very pleased and excited to move forward with the implementation steps that lie ahead of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any more questions? No, I will make a motion to pass item number 2. Can I get a second? City Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila. Yes. Councilmember Monica Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you for that. And so just to reiterate, I think last time, based on the numbers that Habitat had mentioned when we first started this, I believe we've secured 12 units at the Torch facility. And, with this, you can do anywhere from, I believe, 30 to 40, depending on the conditions of the market. So we have the potential to have locked in funding for 50 affordable home ownership opportunities in less than a year. I think that's pretty big for the city. So we do have item number 7, the approval of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park, setting priorities for filing arguments regarding a city measure and directing the city attorney to prepare an impartial analysis. Chief Deputy City Clerk, do you want to go ahead and take the floor?
Thank you, Mayor and honorable members of the City Council. I did send the attached resolutions for all of the arguments on the upcoming ballot measures. There were revisions conducted after due to legal advice. And so on section 2 of the resolution, it now is going to read primary arguments not to exceed 300 words are authorized pursuant to Elections Code section 92A2 relating to the ballot measure on cannabis retail sale regulations and taxation for the City of Baldwin Park, accompanied by the City of Baldwin Park printed name and signatures of the authors, and to change the arguments until and including the date fixed by the city clerk, after which no arguments for or against the city measure may be submitted to the city clerk. The city clerk shall follow the Elections Code Section 9281 through 9287 in determining the printing of all arguments in favor and against. And are also going to eliminate Section 3. That's for the cannabis. Because the cannabis measure was initiated by voters, the voters will have sort of first dibs to submit arguments for the measure. For the other measures, on Section 2, the modification was that arguments shall not exceed 300 words in length. And under Section 3, if the city council does not file written arguments, then any voter of the city may submit a written argument in favor not to exceed 300 words. And those are the amendments to the resolutions. Additionally, the city clerk also has prepared possible ballot designation letters for the measures if you wish to discuss that now.
And Mr. Mayor, just for the record, since this was an elections matter, this legal advice came from our elections lawyer that is assisting us in this regard.
So I have a question. I was looking at the report and it's pretty lean. Did you send us additional emails? Okay.
Yes, I sent the additional resolutions via email, and those resolutions were then amended as well.
So how can we get the actual language, the most recent language?
I can forward that email if you'd like.
That would be nice. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, are we taking the discussion for?
Yes. It's up to the council, but the county is requesting that we designate letters to each of the measures. And so they are giving us 3 choices. They did call us the other day and ask that we submit them as soon as possible because it's a first come, first choice. So not sure why that would be since this is strictly for our city, but that's what they're requesting. So for instance, when we're talking about the term limits measure, the first choice we recommend would be TL. And if that choice is not available, the second option would be T. So it would be measure T. Or the third option would be measure L. We're trying to keep it all in line with the title of the measure. The second one, cannabis, the first choice we recommend would be CB. Second choice would be CN. Third choice would be just the letter C. For the rotating mayor, the first choice would be RM. Second choice would be M. Third choice would be R. For campaign contributions, the first choice we recommend would be CC. If that's not available, the second choice would be CL, would be campaign limits, and the third choice would be CT.
You said for the campaign limits?
Yes, for the campaign contributions would be first choice CC, campaign contributions, CC. The second choice we're submitting is CL, campaign limits. And the third choice would be CT, campaign contributions, just using the T from contributions.
Okay, so we have 4 measures to vote on, correct?
We have, yes, 4 measures. We have those choices on lettering each measure.
Okay, I think me personally, I do like, I'll just note them. So I put TL, CB, M, and CC.
TL, CB,
M,
M for the rotating mayor?
yeah,
Okay,
and CC.
CC. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll switch, for the rotating mayor, we'll switch this from second choice to first choice if everyone is in agreement. And we will submit this to the county and hopefully we'll get our First choices.
Is there a CBD as a choice?
It's only 2 letters. I thought about that, trust me, but there's only 2 letters.
So just to clarify, we're doing Cal,
DC, yes.
And
We
I
can
think
only
we'll
use 1 or 2
need a
letters.
motion on that, right? Need a motion for you, Mayor,
Great.
for your.
So I will make,
And for the cannabis, we said CB.
CB.
CB. That makes sense, yeah.
yeah, okay, so I'll make a motion to use the following suggestions, TL, CB, M, and CC, for the 4 proposed ballot measures. Can I get a second? City Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Avila, Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
motion passes.
Great, thank you for that, City Clerk. That was item number 7. We do have item number 8, the authorization to appropriate funding for the Garvey Family Bridge Housing Project. Do we have presentation or no? Just here to answer questions? Okay. So, and kind of, I just wanted to touch on, Mr. Sai brought up a good point, right? He was talking about Measure H. And, it's been incredibly frustrating because all of us have paid into Measure H and we haven't seen a return on that dollar. So when we have projects like this, it's actually a pretty big deal because we are capturing funding that otherwise we wouldn't have. A lot of the funding here is coming sometimes from the Regional Housing Trust, and I think for the first time ever, if I'm not mistaken, staff said that LASA is appropriating dollars directly to a city, which is a big deal. LASA has been a complicated and controversial topic as of recently with the Blue Ribbon Committee and cities struggling to get more representation when it comes to Measure H. So I just want to really make that very clear that this is a big win, not just for Baldwin Park, but for the San Gabriel Valley. And so as we open up these shelters and we spearhead this effort, we actually show people, what is possible. So hopefully in the future, I know that a lot of cities have visited our shelters. They too understand what is necessary to get this going. And I think that these are really, really important. Tiny homes are not, our homeless count has been increasing, and that's factual. And it seems that sometimes we kind of forget that homelessness has been an issue here prior to 2020. So, looking at the data, it's really, really important that we start taking on this challenge and making sure that we meet those numbers to house and give resources to the people that want them and start enforcing on people that are causing trouble in the community. So I don't know if any council members have any questions, concerns.
I just want to add something, if it's okay. I agree that we need to make our elected officials accountable and everybody else that, like LASA and everybody that is saying that they're helping the homeless. We really need to look into where are all these funds going? Are we getting enough funding as a city? Because we're not the only city experiencing an increase in homelessness. There's a lot of cities. I mean, I have friends that live in San Dimas, Laverne. They're seeing it there. Chino, they're everywhere. And what's being noticed is if there's a train station or if there's more public transportation, that's where the homeless are going. And so it's not just the city of Baldwin Park. It just so happens we have a train station here that they hop on the train. I did a ride along with Officer Wenner, and we talked to a homeless. When he saw the homeless, he said, that person's not from here. That person was from Oregon. And asked him, why are you here? Just hopped on the train. And so it's my understanding that a lot of people are hopping on the train or the public transportation and just wherever the road takes them. So it's not just the city of Baldwin Park, it's all the cities. And we do need to make sure that the funding is being appropriated and in the right places and that we are being given the money that is needed. We are working with the homeless and we are trying to make the problem less here in our city. And I think every city needs to do the same, not just the city of Baldwin Park, but I think it's a state problem. Our state representatives need to help us solve this problem and create laws that helps the cities with the homeless situation. And again, it comes to the funding. I know it's a little off, but it all goes to funding. And it's not just giving the dollar amount, but what else are you doing? So we're giving the money to help provide the tiny homes or what have you, but are they really continuing the push to provide the housing for these people that we are helping? So we need to work together with the state and the cities, the city of Baldwin Park and other cities to make sure that the housing is being provided to move these people out of the tiny homes. We start them off and they need to move on to their permanent housing. So funding and holding everybody accountable, I think it's very important, Mayor. Thank you.
And Mayor, if I may?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I'd also like to just share my frustration with the lack of funding. I was really hoping for the $821,000 from LASA. As you know, we're only getting $478,000. Even though the homeless crisis is a crisis, a lot of the cities, or probably every city, is experiencing. We are one of the only cities in the San Gabriel Valley who has taken an aggressive approach and investment into trying to provide shelter for some of the homeless people. Let's not forget that we also did invest $2.7 million to acquire this Garvey site property. So we are making the investment out of our city funds to be able to provide shelter, but we do need to hold our county and state representatives more accountable and push for more funding, because if we are taking these aggressive approaches, and we're one of the only cities that are really doing this, I believe that we should be getting a bigger piece of the pie when it comes to the funding. So if we can, just share our concerns with our county and state representatives to let them know that we can't do this alone. In order for us to be able to provide these resources in the future, we need for them to step up to the plate and provide us with more funding. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor,
Yes,
I have a
Councilmember.
question for Eureka. Eureka, is this the funding that would by accepting this funding, we would have to waive the background check, or is this a different funding?
One of them is under LASA's funding.
Which one is that one?
It is the 476.
Okay. So because we are accepting that amount, this project will need to waive the background checks.
The waiving is under the LA County COC, which is any Measure H or LASA funding. So we also did receive another, actually a full allocation for year 2 of Esperanza. So collectively, we did receive about over $1.5 million between Homeless Initiative Team and the LASA. So this is the combination of the two sites.
Okay. So my question though is, by receiving this funding, then we are required to waive the background check.
That is correct.
both
And it
sides.
would bring us into alignment with all homeless services.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Great. Well, if there's no more questions or comments, I will make a motion to pass item number 8. Can I get a second? City Clerk, roll call,
I
please.
object.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Emanuel Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila, Councilmember Monica Garcia,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Thank you for that. I look forward to our grand opening. I'm sure we can work with the COG and the Regional Housing Trust to make sure we invite the elected officials from the area and make sure that we kind of show everybody what we're doing and showcase these efforts. I believe that is the end of our agenda. So now we go on to City Council acting as a successor agency of the dissolved Community Development Commission And there is a report of officers, so I will go ahead and approve that item. Can I get a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Monica Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Avila, Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Thank you for that. And then we are down to our reports of officers. And so this is the approval of the resolution to put a ballot initiative to, so these are two ballot initiatives. One is for term limits, and the other one is for a rotating mayor and mayor pro tempore. Chief Deputy City Clerk, anything we should keep in mind?
Yes, Mayor. So there is a resolution attached to this report, and the resolution has a question that will be placed on the ballot for the voters on the November 8th election. But I did want to mention, if the council desires on the floor to change that question, that's still a possibility if the council wishes to do so.
Okay, and can you just confirm what the current language is?
There. That information up. Okay, I'm pulling the information up. For rotating, sorry, for term limits, sorry, I just lost my computer signal.
No worries.
Of course I did.
Sorry, City Clerk, I think I can read it for you. So we have, shall the measure establishing term limits so that no member of the City Council may serve more than 3 terms in office in their lifetime, the equivalent of 12 years, and no directly elected mayor may serve more than 6 terms in office in their lifetime, 12 years, and no member of the City Council or directly elected mayor may serve more than a combined 12 years in office, regardless of the office, be adopted. Sounds very wordy. Is there any way to reduce the verbiage?
Yes, if the council wishes to entertain a different language, is this for term limits?
Yes, correct, for term limits.
Are there any suggestions?
Let's see. Shall the measure establishing term limits so that no member of the City Council may serve more than 3 terms in office in their lifetime, and no directly elected mayor may serve more than 6 terms in office in their lifetime, 12 years, and no member of the City Council or directly elected mayor may serve more than a combined 12 years in office, regardless of the office be adopted.
What was the last part of it?
So the last part was, and no member of the City Council or directly elected mayor may serve more than a combined 12 years in office, regardless of the office be adopted. So the mayor is part of the City Council, so would you be able to say something like establishing term limits so that no member of the City Council, including the mayor, may serve more than 3 terms in office in their lifetime?
Well, if
3
it goes
terms,
to
12 years.
rotated mayor, then that would take effect anyway, right? Because we would be elected council members.
Why it seems so long is because this still presumes the existing conditions, which is there's a directly elected mayor. But you're right, Councilmember Garcia, the other measure would be to go to a rotating mayor, and then everyone is elected as a council member if that passes.
Yeah. So, and then the mayor is part of the City Council. So would it be possible to just say City Council, so no member of the City Council, including mayor, may serve more than 3 terms in their office lifetime, and then 12 years, so people understand 12 years are 3 terms.
Yeah, if you say including mayor, I think that That,
However, the term for mayor currently is a 2-year term, so it would be a 6-year if it's 3 terms.
So can we just leave it to 12 years? 12 years would be,
That would be the most straightforward.
yeah.
So the measure will read, shall the measure establishing term limits so that no member of the city council or directly elected mayor may serve more than 12 years in office in their lifetime. But that would be it, in their lifetime.
And end it there. I think that's fine.
And I think we had said when we were discussing this that it would take effect at the next election. So that's when the clock starts, right?
So are we starting in 2024 or 2022? But we can make this immediate.
Yeah, as it's written, I think it goes into effect as 2022.
yes.
You need to put in there, which will go into effect at 2024 at the very end.
And for mayor, because on the ballot currently, there is a question for a directly elected mayor, that will take effect 2024. For the way it's written now, the current council members, this would be effective 2022.
Right.
And this conversation did arise, during legal review. If you wish to explore further, I can give you more details. But if the council agrees to start in 2024, we can also do that.
So if we do 2024, so either way, either people are going to get 2 extra years and some people are going to get 2 less years. So I do think that if we're going to pass it, we should pass it immediately. I think even then, every current member of the council will get 12 years.
Starting from this election in 2022. That's what I think the way it's currently written, and the reason for that is in consultation with Stephanie Smith, our elections lawyer. She thought that it would be cleaner to have it start in 2022 for the reasons you mentioned, Mayor, that the terms aren't all equal right now. And so if you do it in 2024, some people could end up having more time than others. So in order that everyone just get 12 years, Stephanie recommended that it be 2022, and that's why she wrote it that way.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'm wondering why some members of the council will get 2 more years or 2 less years. Can you explain that?
Yes, Councilmember Garcia. So if it starts in 2024, the people that are elected right now, this time in 2022, are going to get 2 years, and then they're going to get 12 starting in 2024. Whereas the other people that are not getting elected this year, they would just have their 12 years from 2024.
The people who are not getting elected, you mean who are not up for re-election?
Correct.
So I have
And it also impacts the mayor too, because the mayor's a 2-year term right now. And so that would also impact the mayor's position as well, that he possibly could get an extra 2 years.
I mean, does it?
So I have a question, Robert, about the timing. So let's say, for example, Councilmember Garcia and myself are up for re-election in 2024. So if we were to start this in 2022, and let's just say, one of us wanted to continue to go the full 12 years, you have 2024 is the election, then you've got 2028, then you've got 2032, and then you've got 2036. So in a sense, our last re-election would be 2036, but we would have to maximize our 12 years at 2034. So would that have to go for a special election so that someone can come in after that, or how would this work?
Frankly, I didn't completely follow you, but no, we wouldn't, based on the conversation with the elections lawyer, we would not be doing any special election, and that's the reason why we're doing it this way for 2022.
So,
Mayor Pro Tem, it's not retroactive. So your term, so you and Councilmember Garcia are not up for reelection this year. If you're seeking reelection next election, that's when your clock starts. It's not retroactively.
And
got
That's right. That's right.
should we state that in the language, just to clarify?
If we were to say full terms, I know there's the 12 years total,
Yeah.
but then if we add 3 full terms,
But just for clarification, on the actual ordinance, it does state that. I included that language.
Okay.
And because that was what we had discussed was 3 full terms. That's what that should reflect that.
Beginning
with the exception of the mayor's position, if the rotating mayor initiative doesn't get passed.
That's why we use the 12 years instead of the 3 terms.
Or if it gets passed.
Right.
If it gets passed.
If the mayor does not get passed and we had used 3 terms, then he would be only 6 years.
Right.
Sorry, I'm looking for the language now.
No. Right, but we didn't use that for that reason.
And serve full terms. So I think that's what's in the ordinance. That's what
Yes.
Lulu's looking for.
Yeah, so I included the verbiage, but if you'd like to, I just can't find it. I had my notes on my other computer, but if you'd like to, just for the sake and purposes of making sure that it's included, we can add it to a section within the resolution.
Yeah, so you could, the motion you should pass should say that, whatever motion, as long as the language of 12 total years is included. So that way, in the event that it's not, we will have the freedom to include it, and before we send it off.
Okay, so what are we agreeing on? So we're going, so are we going with 20, it would actually be, yeah, it would be 2022, so.
Yes. As written, it's 2022. So if you want to keep it as 2022, you're going to pass it as is. If you want it to be 2024, then you will amend it as written.
Okay, so I would say just amend the verbiage so that we don't have a very long sentence. So we're talking about the measure, we said we would reduce that to just state 12 years, city council, including mayor.
Okay, and so the amendment is based on the language you just mentioned earlier, which is the city council, including the mayor, shall serve no longer than 12 total years in their lifetime, correct?
Correct.
Well, it's written as 2022, so.
So what would it be, December? I think people get sworn in December, the first week of December, is that correct? Would it be December 7th, effective December? Well, we would just want to double check the language, but the date of swearing in is the date this becomes effective.
If it's passed, yes.
Or it becomes effective as soon as the election is certified, which is the same thing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Okay, so that's the motion.
Okay, so motion to,
And the language as you just stated.
So sorry, one more thing. So this is one report officers, including 2 ballot initiatives. So should we make the motion once we discuss both ballot initiatives?
I think yeah, you can do them all together, but you can do them separately too if you like.
Well, so on the topic of term limits, I'll make a motion to pass the resolution with amended verbiage that with the amended agreed upon verbiage, and for this to start in 2022. Can I get a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Avila,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
and Mayor Estrada.
Yes. Thank you for that, City Clerk. And then we move on to the next resolution, which is reverting back to a rotational mayor rather than an elected mayor. The current language is, shall the measure eliminating the office of separately elected mayor and changing it to an appointed office from among 5 elected city council members commencing in 2024 be adopted? So I think that there was.
I think we revised that language, Mr. Mayor, and I believe our deputy senior city clerk has that language, but she sent it to me as well. I believe the language shall now say, shall the voters elect 5 council members to a 4-year term with an annually rotating mayor and mayor pro tempore of the city council of the city of Baldwin Park, commencing in the year 2024. So if you approve of that language, then you would need to make the motion based on that.
Okay, so I had seen a ballot proposition from a different city. So I think, you know, as we move towards a rotational mayor, I think at least on my part, the effort is to make sure that there is, you know,
Thank you.
there's more accountability for all council members, and I think that it really helps people understand the difference between a council member and a mayor are very, you know, figurehead related. So based on language, but I would want to put in there, I think I've seen some other cities where they says a automatic rotational basis to eliminate that politicking of voting for mayor pro tempore and then voting for mayor. I think we've seen it in other cities where they have a rotational mayor that they start picking and choosing who becomes mayor. And then ultimately the effort fails because the same person will be mayor or they skip people. And so we want to make sure that that doesn't happen here.
That can be brought once and if this measure is approved, the city council can administratively bring an ordinance forward delineating the parameters of how they'd like to nominate mayor pro tem.
Yeah.
It's going to be better if it's on the ballot.
It can be changed if it's not on the ballot. So you want to include that language onto the ordinance?
I would.
Yes, it sounds like they want to include the language so that there's a strict rotation that cannot be changed. And as long as he puts that in the motion, we'll be at liberty to insert that language after tonight
Onto the question or onto the ordinance?
onto the question so that it can't be changed by ordinance later on.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Mayor, your suggested language was?
I believe you would add automatic in front of rotating bases, so it would be, so I'm not reading the language, I'm looking at something else, sorry. I was looking at a previous ballot initiative elsewhere. Yeah, so it would be, shall the voters elect 5 council members to a 4-year term we could do annually or we could do another term. I know some cities do 9.5 months, some do a full year, we could do a year.
Annually is good.
So annually an automatic rotating mayor. So that way there is no, so automatically rotating mayor and mayor pro tempore.
Well, we understand the intent. So can you tell us with your motion that we understand what you want, and in case we have some different language that.
Yes, correct. So the effort would be that there is a set standard. So automatically mayor and mayor pro tempore would rotate amongst the council and without and that is to eliminate that picking and choosing or politicking of the positions.
Yeah.
A sequential basis. In other words, it cannot be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
So in other words, council members will not be able to nominate anyone. They would be an automatic rotation.
There'd be no vote anymore. You're not going to vote on that anymore. It's just there's going to be an automatic rotation.
Set by administration?
So I think that if you say automatic, you've already implied that the process would be an automatic rotation, and it does still leave room for council to later on decide if it passes whether they want to do
I see.
You know what I mean?
Because we could start it out using alphabetical last names, and then that way, that will be the start, and then it'll never change after that with alphabetical last names. That would be the start.
Let's start backwards
you
with
do
the
it-
alphabet.
Would it be easier because if somebody new incoming has a last name and then it could get tricky, would it be able to just do it? To me, the easiest thing would be a clockwise rotation. So if I'm mayor and Enrique's a council member and he's a mayor pro tem.
Well, clockwise,
would
like
be-
from the dice?
But if we insert the word automatically, that establishes the intent, and then we can develop the rotation model.
Because, I mean, initially, you would need to appoint the next mayor, and then once everybody's gone through the rotation, then you start a rotation, because initially you won't have a rotation.
Right.
One idea would
First
be
5 years will
Right.
be challenging.
5 years, you need to nominate somebody else, and it'll be clear that it'll be a different person. And then once that's been established, then you have a rotation, because now.
or it could be clockwise rotation. The person left to me would be mayor pro tempore. So you go from being mayor pro tem to being mayor. The person next to you becomes mayor pro tem, and then they become mayor pro tem, the actual mayor. So you become mayor pro tem before you become mayor.
What if the people switch on the dice? I mean,
We can look into what other cities, how they
yeah,
have
we-
established.
I think we
Yeah.
understand your intent, and as long as you pass the
If
motion
you
with
can
that. so
find
that
the
we can have
correct language,
flexibility.
but you understand what we're saying?
Right.
Do we need to vote
Yes.
on it now exactly? Well, we need to have it
Well,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we have
I
to
think
vote
the
on-
word automatically is going to make the declaration of what the council is approving. If we don't change the language, even if you give us authority, I think the rules that you will establish when it's implemented will take care of exactly what you're saying.
Okay,
I think we can ask other cities. I mean, maybe the first 5 years will be established by lottery or by.
Yeah, true. We need to have specifics, right?
So
But Lulu's saying we need to have it now.
I think a better word, rather than automatic, I would use sequential. Because then you are stating that it will be,
The next
the
person.
next person, versus automatic just means it's automatically going to occur. That's without a doubt that
Okay.
I don't know.
automatic and sequential. How's that?
Yeah.
Automatic in sequential order.
All right.
There you go.
So let me just bring it up.
I have 2 questions. One, why aren't we implementing this in 2022 with the others? And then second, for the mayor position, does the year that this is triggered, does that establish the term moving forward? Because right now the elected mayor is 2 years, every 2 years. So with this new policy, perhaps if it's approved by the voters, does that 4-year term begin on the year that it's approved? Like, let's say we do 2024, that's what the language is currently. So then moving forward, that 2-year term now becomes 4 years. Does it start 2024? And then that, the 3 members of the council will move forward, that the natural kind of progression or way of things moving forward?
yes, so it's going to be 12 total years, no matter what, no matter how many
Yeah,
terms.
right.
Okay, right. And I believe when we talked about it, we had originally talked about having 2024 for both. And so if we're going to make the ballot measure 2022, we should make this one 2022. The only way it works.
Would you actually be able to do that? Because we've already announced elections and I'm looking at El Monte. So El Monte tried this in 2007 and they still had the consolidated general election for an elected mayor in 2005. So we've already put an election up for mayor and city council. So we haven't approved the effort for the measure yet.
That's right. You're correct, Mayor, and that refreshes my recollection about why we did it 2024, because we've already pulled papers for mayor and people are already going to be running for an elected mayor. That's why we have to start it in 2024, because there's
Okay.
no way to do it now.
Okay.
And we had to have the notice of the election before this meeting, so we couldn't wait until this
Okay.
meeting to send out the notice of election.
Okay.
So that's already
That-
been done and it's
Okay.
yeah.
So then in 2024, there will be 3 council seats that are up. Right?
Yeah. If it passes,
And
if
then-
the rotating mayor.
2024, and then 2 years later, there will be 2 council seats up. Then in 2028, there will be 3 council seats up. So that's how it's going to naturally progress.
Yes,
moving
because
forward.
right now it's 1 mayor, 2 council members on an election, then 2 council members. So that mayor just turns into a council member, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2. You're correct.
Okay.
Okay, so going back to the language, we currently have,
Okay, Mayor, if I may suggest
yes, go ahead.
language. I think this is a little cleaner. Shall the voters elect 5 council members to a 4-year term with an annually sequential rotating mayor and mayor pro tem of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park commencing in the year 2024?
Yes, I like that better. I think eliminating in the language is a little bit, adds a negative connotation. So we'll go with that recommended verbiage.
Need a motion?
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the resolution with the amended verbiage. Can I get a second? Second. City Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila, Councilmember Monica Garcia, Mayor Pro Tem Damian,
Yes.
motion passes.
Great, thank you for that. So we do have city council communication. Before we go with that, I believe we have,
We have,
so we have the successor agencies, but there was no announcement at the beginning of the agenda.
okay. Oh, you can make the announcement now.
All right.
That's what I can see.
So that's not it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So an important announcement is that this is to announce, as required by Government Code Section 54954.3, members of the City Council are also members of the Board of Directors of the Housing Authority and Finance Authority, which are concurrently convening with the City Council this evening, and each council member is paid an additional
that's just
stipend
meeting.
of $30 for attending the Housing Authority meeting and $50 for attending the Finance Authority meeting. So I am going to go ahead and we're going into the consent calendar for the Finance Authority.
Mayor, if I may make a comment, the
Yes.
reason why that verbiage isn't there is because this is essentially a free meeting. You only get that stipend once a month. So
Oh,
you're
good.
doing this for free.
Thank you for
Out of the
that.
kindness of your heart.
Thank you for that. I always do
Before we
that.
move on to that agenda, do we want to let Mayor Pro Tem talk about the City Council communication?
No, we'll go to communications after we're done with the regular business. So on the Housing Authority meeting, we do have,
You have to open it up.
so I'm going to go ahead and open the Baldwin Park Housing Authority regular meeting. And City Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you. Chair Emmanuel Estrada,
Yes.
Vice Chair Daniel Damian,
Yes.
Member Alejandra Avila, Member Monica Garcia,
Yes.
Member Paul Hernandez.
All right. So I guess we open up public communication. So anybody looking to speak on the Housing Authority meeting, now is your time. Seeing that nobody's looking to speak, I'm going to go ahead and close public communication, and we do have a consent calendar, so I'm going to go ahead and make the motion to pass consent calendar. City Clerk, can I have a, do I have a second? Second?
Second.
Thank you. City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian,
Yes.
Councilmember Monica Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila, Motion passes.
Great, thank you for that. And I am going to go ahead and open up the Baldwin Park Finance Authority regular meeting. City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes, I mean, here, sorry.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian,
Here.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila, Councilmember Monica Garcia.
Are we saying here or yeah?
Here,
Yes.
Okay.
here. This is roll call. I know
I'm
it's late.
confused. I feel like we're taking different agendas out of
It's
order.
roll call.
Okay, I'm here.
Councilmember Paul Hernandez. That's it.
Great, thank you for that, City Clerk. So at this moment, I will open up public communication for the Finance Authority. Is there anybody looking to speak during public communication? Seeing that nobody is looking to speak, I will go ahead and close public communication. We do have a consent calendar. I will go ahead and make a motion to pass that consent calendar. Can I get a second? City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila, Councilmember Monica Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you for that, City Clerk. So we are done with our official city business for today, and Mayor Pro Tem, you do have the floor.
Mayor, you did finance, right? Municipal Finance Authority.
You are right.
At the Finance Authority and the Baldwin Park Municipal Financing Authority.
We have Finance Authority, Housing Authority, and then I guess Municipal Finance Authority.
Never mind.
So, City Clerk, can you do a roll call, please, for the Baldwin Park Finance Authority regular meeting? For the Baldwin Park Municipal Finance Authority regular meeting?
Okay, Mayor Manuel Estrada,
Yes, I hear. Oh my goodness, here.
Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Damian,
I'm here.
Councilmember Alejandra Avila, Councilmember Monica Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Paul Hernandez. That's it.
All right, so we do have, so I'm looking at the agenda on the meeting and the members are not the right ones. I don't know if it's just my agenda, but the chair and the pro chair and one of the council members is not up to date.
On which one?
On the,
So
Finance, the municipal finance?
the municipal finance,
oh, I'm not seeing that, Mayor. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Chair, vice chair, and board members?
So is that, this is the posted agenda on the website.
Oh. I know mine is right.
So I guess we just won't, I guess it means that I can't even open it. So that agenda is not open, so we will convene on that one at the next city council
Sure,
meeting.
because I'm looking at an agenda that is fine.
Yeah,
So which one do we go off of?
so you go to the Granicus, it's not,
Posted one is not.
yeah. So we will convene at the Municipal Finance Authority next meeting. So Mayor Pro Tem, go ahead and floor.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Okay, I'll try to make this quick because it's been a crazy night. Okay, so mine's a request, discussion, and direction to staff to report back on enforcement boundaries regarding the homeless community with mental disabilities and/or substance abuse. So, you know, we've heard about homelessness tonight. A lot of you have chimed in reference to the homelessness. I just want to, I guess, clarify a couple of things. So when we speak about the homeless community, I always look at the homeless community in different categories. One is you have those homeless individuals who want the assistance, need the help. And then you have those homeless families with kids who, you know, for some reason cannot pay the rent and they're out on the street and they need that assistance. And they're willing to get that assistance. Then you have the homeless people who are either on substance abuse, whether drugs, alcohol, or have a mental health issue, or both. What I'm talking about here tonight is the homeless people who are out in our community, who are unfortunately breaking laws, breaking into our businesses, breaking into residential properties, graffiti, dirt, assaults, violence, harassment. Those are the types of homeless people that I'm talking about tonight. And, you know, unfortunately, we don't have a location to place these people in. Our Esperanza Villa is not for these type of people. Our family site on the Garvey site is also not to house these individuals. So the question arises as to what do we do with these people? I know that there's laws in place. I'm aware that if there's someone on a sidewalk who decided to camp there, we have to, by law, give them a 14-day notice to be able to abate that area.
That's what I'm looking for.
And some of the frustration that our residents have shared throughout the community is the fact that they can't enjoy our public spaces. They can't enjoy even a walk up and down the street without being harassed or followed by certain individuals that are homeless. Now, a lot of these individuals that are homeless in our area that are causing these issues are not from Baldwin Park. It seems like recently we've been used as a dumping ground for some of these homeless individuals. You know, as you guys know, just last week, one of our staff members was assaulted by one of the homeless individuals because she was destroying city property. We cannot continue to allow this behavior. We need to figure out a way to create a task force. I would love to see our police department take the lead on this, because at the end of the day, they are the ones with the municipal code experience. You know, the chief mentioned that he would bring in a presentation. I would be interested to find out how many calls of service have been made, you know, just to attend these homeless issues. You know, with that, I know it's a bigger discussion to have, but we need to know what our legal options are. It's come time that we have to start to take an aggressive approach and let them know that they are not welcome in the city of Baldwin Park if they are going to come and destroy our property, harass our residents, and bottom line, jeopardize our community's public safety. You know, our community's public safety should be our number one concern. I don't want my children or our kids from our community seeing these individuals going to the restroom in broad daylight. I don't want them seeing them using drugs in broad daylight. So these are issues that we really need to start taking very serious. I don't know if we have to have these bigger conversations with the county or the state, but we need to make sure that we are actively looking for a way to find a solution to these issues. It's not fair that a lot of our businesses are struggling, and yet they're having to worry about certain homeless people camping out in front of their businesses, not allowing, you know, people to come into their place of business because they're scared of the individuals that are there setting fires or whatever it is. So for me, you know, I am all for helping our homeless individuals who want the assistance, our homeless families who want our assistance. We've taken an aggressive approach with the Esperanza Villa and the new family Garvey site. But unfortunately, the county decided to open up Project Home Key at the old Motel 6 site, which has contributed to some of the issues that we're having. So for me, we need to really start looking into abatement, figure out what we can do to do the abatement in some of the properties, and create a task force, come up with a plan, and have our PD lead the efforts and use the different departments as a team. So I would like for them to come back with a staff report or our options, especially our legal options, to see what it is that we can do to stop this homeless crisis that we currently have.
Mayor, may I add to Mr. Damien's comments, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I want to add also a conversation that him and I had. I think a big issue we have is when a homeless person gets taken to the local Kaiser. So they get taken in for services. They could be coming from any city because they're injured or what have you. The problem there is, what can we do as a city? Because the hospitals are releasing these homeless out onto the street, knowing very well they didn't come from the city of Baldwin Park. So if a homeless gets picked up in El Monte because they got hurt or whatever it was, bring them to our Kaiser. Kaiser just lets them out the door in the city of Baldwin Park. So I want to know what we can do as a city to make sure that the hospital is sending that person back to the city that they were transported from, rather than releasing them back to the city of Baldwin Park, which they don't belong. Another comment I wanted to make is if a homeless person is in a private property, which is our businesses, And I know because Officer Wenner informed me of this, the owners of the property have to request for us to remove them from the property. So we need to make sure that our businesses are aware of that process, because once we have that order from the business owners, then we can immediately act on it. If we don't have that from them, as the police department, we cannot go into the property, correct? And we cannot remove them. Also, if they're obstructing the right of way, just like the taco vendors were, they can be removed because they're blocking the sidewalks. It's not conforming with ADA, so they can be removed from the sidewalks. I've made plenty of calls to have people removed that are blocking the sidewalks because people can't walk by. They have to walk on the street to be able to get to the other side. So those kinds of situations can be taken care of. So again, it's informing our community members of what we can do. So those are some options. And again, let's inform our businesses the rights that they have. They don't have a right to be in their private property. So as long as we get permission, our police department can come in there and remove them. And again, we're looking already into providing more services and looking into grants. Officer Wenner is doing that, so thank him for me. So that was one of my concerns that actually Mayor Pro Tem Damon and I talked about. He just didn't mention the hospitals, probably slipped his mind, but it was one of our biggest concerns. Thank you.
And Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Avila, I will work with the chief regarding the legal aspect that you've raised, and probably one of our panel counsel that has expertise in this, because I know some of the panel counsel lawyers that we hired have actually worked on these kind of homeless issues in other cities. So we'll want to tap into them. So I'll work with you, Chief, on that.
Thank you.
Great. I think that's a great discussion. Like I said, all of our efforts have been leading up to this, the potential of this, and I've been following, I also have been following up with Wenner and PD. And I didn't want to make an ask today that we allocate $50,000 from ARPA for PD to start buying utility vehicles. So one of the things that goes beyond the 14-day notice is that we have to, and we learned that today. One of the things that we have to do is that we have to constantly maintain that area so that we don't have to go through that whole process every time somebody goes and sets up camp. So if PD goes out there, sets up that 14-day notice, as long as they regularly check on it and they maintain it, they can continue to enforce that cleanup stance that same day without having to go through that 14-day process every time. So we know that, as I mentioned earlier, we have a ton of riverbed space in the area. So it is important for PD to be able to get out there quickly and efficiently. We don't want to ruin our new vehicles, and our new vehicles are not situated for that. So I think that if we're lucky with 50,000, we can get the necessary equipment for PD to go out there in teams and not just on a one-by-one basis.
And I'm sorry, Mayor, that was $50,000 for what?
For off-road vehicles, so that they can safely get down to the wash areas and properly maintain it. And then that would also help with the maintenance of the upcoming bike trails. So they would have a really important purpose.
And Mayor, you talk about ATVs or these little other vehicles or off-road vehicles like trucks, four-wheel drives and stuff?
Not ATVs. I believe sheriffs use Can-Am.
Correct. Yes,
More
sir.
like two-seaters, so that two can go down there.
Correct.
If we have a bigger team, then we have two vehicles.
And is 50 enough? How much are those things?
It depends on how we outfit it. So we'll have to look at the specs. We have talked to the sheriff's department as to their specifications. We might not need as fancy as they need, but they obviously have better resources than we do. So I'd be careful with how we outfit them, but we definitely would make sure that they would work in what we need them to do.
Great.
Mayor, if I can make a suggestion.
Yes, go ahead.
I think that's a great idea. I absolutely don't want to shoot that down, but I think it would be wise if we waited for them to come back with a staff report and a presentation, and maybe Chief included in that presentation, provide what type of vehicles you're thinking of using, what they're going to be used for. And this way we can wrap our heads around what is a realistic number? Because obviously, we need to address this immediately. But if we're going to need 75,000 and we're only allocating 50, then maybe at that point in time we'll say, you know what, we need the 75. So instead of just throwing a number out there, maybe it would be wise if, when you bring back that presentation and you guys are bringing us back our options and what we're going to do moving forward, bring in what the cost of equipment is going to be necessary, and then we can approve it at that time.
Yes, sir, that was my plan, to provide you insight as to what the issues are that we have to deal with, and then provide some solutions so that the council can make a determination of what they want us to do in order to enforce the municipal code sections, the penal code sections, and anything else that we can look at to enforce homelessness.
Okay, so are you guys good with waiting to allocate the funding until we get the options from the reports and all that?
Yes, sir, I'm good with that.
I'm good.
All right. So that, I believe, concludes our conversation. There is no more business to take care of. I will move to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Any objections? If not, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.